Keep the change.
Keep half the change. Where's your friends? Come on.
Call that a game. It was daylight robbery. The English should have been arrested as they came off the park.
Look, they were playing 13 men. I counted them.
And that penalty was a rip-off. If you can't kick a man in a crutch in a football field, where can you do it?
The sport's not what it was. It's a game now for Jessies and big girls' blouses.
Where are these left anyway? Oh, aye. She did say fifth row, didn't she?
Aye. But it was the way she said it. Place is like a bloody rabbit warren. 32.
Here we are. 34.
What were you doing there, anyway?
For God's sake, woman.
Inspector.
We got our address from the barman at our hotel, Inspector. We're just down here in business and for the international.
Look, we've already been put through the grinder by your colleagues.
We were the ones who reported it, remember?
That's what you get for being a good citizen. We could have just walked away, you know.
Yes, I know you could. And I'm grateful that you didn't. Have you visited Melody before?
No.
Did you see anyone leaving as you arrived? Maybe in the lobby?
There wasn't a soul.
Right. Give them a cup of coffee. Let them go. We've got a car going near the hotel. Give them a lift.
Yes, ma'am.
Home address is verified?
Yes, ma'am.
Take statements from both these gentlemen and check their alibis.
Right, ma'am.
I'd like you to hold yourself free to give evidence if necessary.
Inspector, is there any need for us to get in the papers?
If everything you've told us is true, no.
If it's all the same with you, we'll get a taxi back to the hotel.
Aye.
Tasty.
Shows she wasn't entertaining when it happened. Killer would hardly have stopped to make the bed up.
No. No blood on it either. She must have been doing well.
I want a word with some of her colleagues. This is one of their favourite blocks of flats.
Yeah. Must be half a dozen of them in this block.
Right. Round up as many of the girls as you can muster. Get them down to the neck.
I'm not sure I'm up to that. I've gone all week at the knees.
Jimmy, get cracking. Thanks for getting everyone together, Margot.
Think nothing of it, darling. Though there was a bit of interruptus here and there, we are all very busy girls here.
I've had to leave a household name tied up in a cupboard upside down. He's due to vote in the House of Commons in half an hour.
Oh, don't encourage her, Margot. Sorry, matron. Well, considering what we're here to talk about, I do think that all this prep school giggling is rather misplaced.
Pauline's right. I know it's mostly nerves, but let's leave it out, okay?
Oh, dear.
Hey,
coffee, baby.
Inspector, darling, you do know there is a call-out fee.
I hope you've had your Weetabix. If I'd known it was a party, I'd have worn my party hat.
All right. I've got all the comedians I can use.
The point is, have you got all the action you can use, darling?
Now, look, you know we do anything to help the police. I once nursed the chief constable of, well, you know where.
And he wasn't even ill.
No, not until his wife found out.
Maria, shut up.
Ooh, he's fierce, isn't he? You can see why Adrian built that wall between England and Scotland.
He'd seen Trafalgar Square full of Scots on New Year's Eve.
Okay, now wrap it. I mean, we are talking about a murder.
If we got more cover from the law, this sort of thing wouldn't happen.
You are at risk the minute that you go on the game, and you can't blame anybody for that but yourself. So what do you want? Police protection?
Exactly.
If you went on top of us all the time, I mean, if you went laying into
What
us...
she's trying to say in her sweet little mentally
Letty,
retarded
for
way.
God's sake.
Well, the point is, darling, we've always been around and we always will be. You can't win against Mother Nature. So why not accept it?
Stick it in a letter to the Home Secretary. What we're here for is to try and sort out who put Melody away.
I agree. Because none of us is safe until we found the man.
Or woman.
Aye. It's a strong woman, too. Used a marble ashtray.
Margot, you live directly above Melody. Did you hear anything?
I was over at the Hilton, darling, making a house call.
Oh, I was there too. Well, I was.
Pauline, what about you? You live only a couple of doors away.
I always attend my Spanish classes on Wednesday evening. She's thinking of retiring to Mallorca. Well, semi-retiring.
Did she have any regulars?
I imagine so. I mean, she was a good looker.
You only know by seeing the same faces. But we've no idea who they were.
Anyone who struck you as odd?
Sorry, darling.
Who was sharing with Melody?
I don't understand, darling.
Well, half the clothes in Melody's wardrobe was size 10, the other size 12.
Well, we all come and go, darling. You know that. We can't all be iron-willed Weight Watchers.
Half the shoes were size 5, the other size 7. What are you telling me, that our feet go in and out like the tide? Where's our Ruby?
She's moved on.
Oh, too.
We don't really go in for forwarding addresses.
You wouldn't say you were a great deal of help to me, would you?
Honestly, Maggie, we're doing our best.
You got any
really.
enemies that you know of?
Only you might say her common enemy.
That's right. They were always pitching into each other, you know.
Who's that?
Come on, Maggie. It's not like you to be so slow with the jumps.
Jeremy Miller.
Jeremy Miller putting on the pressure for more money in return for seeing you're not bothered by his fellow scum.
Yes, and Melody howled louder than any of us. And if any of this ever came up in court, I'd suffer from total amnesia.
We're not saying he did it personally.
No, it's not the old Etonian pimp style. Might ruin his white gloves.
Why don't you roast him anyway? He deserves it.
Letty, you do your job, I'll do mine. Okay?
Sounds a sensible arrangement. Quite frankly, I don't think you'd stand much chance the other way round.
Funny lady.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you can all go when you've made your statements. I'll send an officer in to take him down.
Anyone know what Melody was really called?
Like the man said, all the customer wants are girls with nice teeth and no last names.
Well, if you think of anything that might help, you know where to find the inspector.
For the moment, I'll leave you with the sergeant. I'll take your statements. And off you all go. Back on your beat.
I beg your pardon?
We're not common tarts, you know.
I hope this isn't going to take all night.
Better get on with it.
Odd, isn't it? What? Oh, how nobody's mentioned how you and Melody got up each other's noses.
Look, we may not have got on, but if you think I could kill anyone, you're more bent than I thought.
I'm bent.
Just shut up.
So, what do we got?
Possible pointer to Jeremy Miller?
Mr. Swab himself.
Yeah, if he got any smoother, he'd slide straight out of his German street shirts. Ruby? They knew more
I
about her
swear
than
she
that.
was sharing with Melody. Got her on file somewhere. I want her picture buzzed round. She shouldn't be hard to find. From what I remember, she was rather spectacular.
No check cards, checkbook, no passport, no driver's license. Nothing that might give us a clue to Melody's real identity.
Almost as whoever killed her wanted to wipe her completely off the map.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What do you make of this envelope?
Julia Portman. Could be her real name.
Well, nobody's really called Melody, are they? And it was stuffed down the back of the couch, like maybe she was choked about it.
No sign of the letter in it, I suppose.
Oh, I couldn't get that lucky. It's not in me stars.
Well, I'm afraid you're going to have to do some plodding.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Sometimes your intuition frightens me. Let's go and have a talk with Mr. Jeremy Miller.
Here we are, girls. Come on in. That's over. Now, you all know where the booze is, so just help yourself.
What have you got? I need a drink after all that. My goodness. Uniforms give me the creeps.
Really, Letty? I thought they were your speciality.
Only when she is wearing them. Where is the tonic?
On the shelf, where it always is.
Where you've been all last week, my dear.
My clientele was out of town, right?
So I hear, all in the same geriatric clinic in Switzerland.
Oh, now, girls, don't you think it's silly to quarrel amongst ourselves when we've got a common cause? Margot, my dear, I don't suppose you have a small brandy, do you?
I'm psychic. I knew you were going to ask for this.
Georgia, my dear, you're a doll.
Oh, yes. Press her tummy and she'll say, Papa.
Just so long as it's not Mama.
Ladies, can we come to order?
Well.
Look, you want to die? What happened to Melody? Something that can happen to any one of us. And we've got to make sure that her killer isn't anyone we know.
I take it we can accept that none of us killed her.
No, of course we didn't.
She was a lovely girl. If that's what the police think, they're sick.
No, I don't think they do. What about Ruby? Police are interested in her.
What about Ruby? That can mean a lot of things.
I'm not asking anyone what they know.
Well, Melody and Ruby,
I told you, darling, I don't want to know now. If anyone's got anything to say, just don't. Not to me, not to each other, and not to the police.
We wouldn't anyway. If you ask me, it's not Ruby we have to be worried about. I've told you. Shut it.
I don't see why I should.
Please, please, I don't want to sound callous about this, but aren't we wasting a great opportunity here? Oh, thank you, Letty, dear. Shouldn't we really be talking about the chance we have to get rid of J. Miller, Esquire?
Eton
Maudlin.
and Wormwood Scrubs.
Miller's favourite to have done it, according to the girls. Could be. Come in.
Jeremy Miller. Hasn't been home all night.
So, do we know who this Melody really was?
No, not yet. There's something odd there.
Well, didn't any of the other ladies know? You know the girls. Anonymous is beautiful, darling.
Sergeant Fenton may have a lady. He's following it up now.
No, we're staying on Miller.
He does lean on those girls. And the missing girl, Ruby. I've got a funny feeling about her.
Feminine intuition.
How's Hatton Garden, John?
Yeah, it's coming slowly, sir.
Mortimer Street.
Information coming, sir.
Keep me posted, eh?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I forgot. Tore this out of a magazine in the hairdressers the other day. It's a new therapy for spastics. They seem to have had some good results.
That's what I like about women. Their winning little ways.
Inspector Croft, why don't you just stick it in your ear?
Now, what was all that about spastics?
His youngest son. Dad, what are you doing still here? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Why haven't you gone home?
I'm staying the night. I'm trying to make out Steve's ruddy costume. They're doing a story about Everard and Eloise for the school play, remember?
Abelard and Eloise.
Well, I don't care if it's bacon lard and Eloise. You were supposed to be making his monk's habit, and you haven't done a thing about it.
Oh, Harry, completely slipped my mind.
Too busy ridding the country of villainy.
Do leave it out, Dad. Now, how far have you got?
Oh.
Dad.
Your case is here. Girl 23, so far unidentified.
Any picture?
No.
Oh, damn. Still, it's early days yet. We maybe get her identified today.
Man, I'm supposed to be Abelard, not Quasimodo.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, love. It's only a mock-up.
Looks more like a cock-up.
No, less of it.
Now, sit down, eat your breakfast. In the kitchen, I don't want crumbs all over the place.
You are coming to see the play, aren't you?
Of course I am, love. It's on Friday, isn't it?
Thursday. I know you'd forget.
I won't forget. Don't gobble, I've told you before.
Oh, wait, Mum, nobody called me.
Your mother didn't get home till 2 o'clock in the morning. And what is more, when I was your age, I got myself up. Summer or winter, hail or shine. You're all too soft, that's what's the matter with you kids.
Thanks, Grandad. You should take up the discus.
Dad, you're as bad as he is.
Anyway, Mum, you've got to be there to give me moral support. It's been written by the English master. You should hear some of the stuff I got a rabbit. When there's the stars that punctuate the night, their glitter lend our souls.
It sounds a lot better without your mouth full.
Don't count on it. That's the sort of stuff they teach us nowadays. And they wonder why we grow up to be weirdos.
You were a weirdo in your pram.
There's more, listen. And then in that dark veil...
Do you have to put this on? Haven't you got any shirts that aren't frayed?
No, Mum, they're all dirty.
Well, tell me when they're all dirty. You're not dumb, are you?
I'll bang them in the machine today.
Oh, thanks, Dad. Would you get some eggs as well, number 3? So I've got to go. I'll hear the rest tonight.
All right, that's safe enough. You're never home in
I
time.
will be, I promise.
And you will be there for the play?
Cross my heart. I've got to go. Bye, love. Bye, Dad.
Bye, love.
Thank you.
Morning.
We got Miller. We're bringing him up now.
Good word coming the Mortimer Street first, Joe.
Yeah, there's a report from Sergeant Brodie on your desk. His snout came up, Chomps.
Terrific. How'd you make out with Carolyn last night?
The elbow.
We're paying for that. Did you let Inspector Croft know they're bringing Miller in?
No, I couldn't get hold of him. He's out on the Hatton Garden job.
Well, as soon as we've seen Miller, we'll do just that and be prepared to fall into a hole if you're wrong. Remind me to get some shirts from Steve on our travels. Come in.
Maggie, my dear girl, I swear you get younger by the hour.
Take no notice. He records all the old Cary Grant movies off television and plays them back like linguaphone lessons. Please, sit down. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Where were you last night?
Straight to the point, direct. I like that in a woman.
Do switch off the charm. It has about as much effect on me as a cold Chinese dinner.
Sharp. I was at a little club I own in Greek Street. Trouble with the accounts, little hands in the till.
Cut him off, did you?
Everybody saw me there. Why? Where would you like me to have been?
One of your girls was murdered last night, and you're everyone's favourite suspect.
One of my girls? What am I, a school teacher?
Possibly. I would say your curriculum was rather bizarre.
Entertaining lady. If ever you decide to leave the force...
We'll send you an exploding telegram.
I protect working girls from exploitation and violence. Help them get on with their jobs.
You help old ladies across the street as well.
Yeah, only if they don't want to go.
What was Melody's real name?
Who?
The girl who was murdered.
If she was one of the girls I help from time to time, I wouldn't know. We social workers don't like to pry.
Miller, how long is it since the fire department gave one of your little clubs and other little rat runs a good going over?
If I'm really what you say I am, and this Melody was paying me a fortune for protection, why should I try and kill the golden goose?
Any number of reasons. A quarrel over raising your percentage. Maybe she knew something about you, something about your other activities. Maybe she was going to shop you. What did you say the name of that little club was?
I didn't.
No, you didn't.
That's right, I didn't.
But you will.
It's called the trap door.
Why don't you try fooling through it?
Look here, I don't have to take this from your monkey.
Goodbye, Mr. Miller. I want all the staff of the trapdoor questioned. I want to know if he was there all night. I want to know if he left at any time, then came back, and I want to know what those...
What's new, Maggie, love?
Oh, this and that. Seen anything as Red Ruby lately, have you?
Bought her a drink last night in the Fenwick. Seemed a bit shook up. Said she was heading south.
Any idea where exactly?
No.
Never mind. Thanks, Eskimo. That's what I owe you.
Anything else I can do for you?
Yeah, shirts for Steve. You know his size. Whatever the kids are wearing these days.
Don't worry. Got just the thing. Ridiculous price.
Don't tell me they fell off the back of Shaw Taylor's Land Rover. My information is she's gone south. An eye has been kept on the ports. I have other inquiries to make. I'll keep in touch.
Sidcup, Garden of Kent, home of the Medean man, and Mr. and Mrs. Portman.
Doesn't look much like the breeding ground for a high-class ball girl.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
This is getting to be a habit.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, last night it was the police station and Maggie Forbes, and today it's my flat and Uncle Jeremy.
You should get together and hire a hall.
Which one of you suggested I had Melody killed?
We all
do. That's right.
You dreary trollops. What have I ever done to you?
Just bled as white.
Dracula.
Don't damage the goods. Ingratitude. If it's one thing that hurts, it's that. I keep all those ill-bred Soho thugs away from you for the tiniest of considerations. I don't force you to work.
You bloody hypocrite! It's when we try to stop that we're in trouble, you know.
Keep it down, will you? Girls, think of the neighbors.
Oh, is that why Melody had to die? Because she told you she was giving it up?
Oh, you cowardly pig! You can't even do your own hurting, can you? Even when it's girls. No.
It would be amusing. It would be amusing, wouldn't it, if you'd got it right? If it were I who dispensed with Melody because she was beginning to be a bore, because she was more trouble than she was worth, because barking bitches are best put down.
I'll buy that. I find that very plausible. I'll have to have a chat with you about it down the station.
What the hell are you doing here?
Well, if you don't mind my saying so, that really is not the question that you should be asking. You should be asking, can you ring your lawyer?
Don't be absurd. I was only joking.
Did you think he was joking?
No.
Did you think he was joking?
No.
Right. Nobody seems to think you were joking. I really think we ought to continue this conversation down the Nick.
You charge me with murder, with anything, and I'll have your pension.
Oh, now that is good thinking. Assault. That'll do for now.
You can't be serious.
Solemn.
We don't know anybody called Melody.
How about Julia Portman, then?
We don't know any Julia Portman either.
Julia Portman was our daughter. She called herself Melody.
She didn't. We don't know anyone called Melody.
Come on, my love, it's no use. I did warn you. When we saw it in the papers this morning, the name Melody and that address, we knew it was Julia. I wanted to ring the police and tell them then, but my wife was against it. I told her you would easily find out who she really was anyway.
It wasn't that easy, Mr. Portman.
No, if we hadn't found an envelope addressed to her.
You see, I told you not to write to her. I told you to stop writing to her. Now look where it's landed us.
We would have found out anyway, Mrs. Portman. We always do. Just taken longer, that's all. Surely you wouldn't want to disown your own daughter, would you? I mean, whatever she's done. Now, we want to find her killer. You must want that too, surely.
It wasn't true about her. All those disgusting things they implied in the newspapers. We'll have to move away from here. We can't go on living here
Mrs.
any
Portman,
longer.
that won't be necessary. I mean, once we found her killer who's been brought to trial, the press will lose interest. Did you see your daughter regularly?
She was a hostess, that's what she was. There's nothing wrong in that. There are a lot of very respectable establishments in London these days.
Mr. Portman.
And I dare say she had a nice little flat too, though I never saw it.
Mr. Portman.
I've seen her a few times since she moved to the West End, yes. The wife wouldn't, but I thought, well, family, you know.
I know.
I'm an assistant bank manager, you see, and sometimes I have occasion to go up to head office in the city. We'd have lunch together. She always looked very smart, I will say.
Do you remember by any chance what size shoes?
Rich boyfriend. But she was a grown woman. It was her own business. But I had no idea she was... I still don't think she was. I think there's been some terrible mix-up.
Oh, come on, Mr. Portman. There must have been some signs in her flat.
Oh, I never went there. She always insisted we met wherever we were lunching.
When did you last see her?
A month ago, we had lunch in a small restaurant in Knightsbridge. She paid.
Do you remember the name of the restaurant?
Yes, it was called La Lune Blanche, the White Moon.
You here again?
Your esteemed colleague, Inspector Croft, pulled me in for questioning on the call girl murder. Meanwhile, your team had come up with the all clear on my alibi, so he had to let me go. You know, you geniuses ought to get your skulls sorted out. Otherwise, the taxpayers will be asking for their money back.
Thank you for your advice.
The entire station made to look like bloody fools. Now, first rule, when on a case, keep in touch.
We did try to keep in touch, sir, but it isn't easy. We're both working on other cases besides this one.
I don't need a rundown of the caseload this station carries, Inspector. What I do want is elementary procedures to be carried out.
Well, if Inspector Forbes had told me Miller was claiming an alibi, I'd never have pulled him in.
Sergeant Fenton tried to raise you 4 times on the RT. It was never mad.
Oh, I've got better things to do with my time than wait for the radio to squawk, and so has my sergeant.
You didn't even try to contact
There
me.
was no point, for God's sake. I wasn't after Miller. I wanted to talk to Margot.
I had already told you everything that she had to say.
Oh, yeah, well, I thought it
Oh,
was
pull
just
it back.
possible there was something Wonder Woman Forbes had forgotten.
Let's
to
leave
add.
out the comedy, shall we, Croft? You've got an explanation.
As I got to the flat, I saw Miller going in, so I had the porter let me in quietly. It was all off the cuff. Anyway, how good is Miller's alibi?
I think you can take it. I know how to check an alibi.
I'm just trying to keep in touch.
Croft!
I only meant...
Now, listen. There's something I want to tell the pair of you. Now, I don't give a damn what kind of kindergarten sex war you conduct off-duty, but just let me get a whisper of an idea. It's affecting your work. You're going to find yourself back in uniform so fast you won't know what time of day it is. You both got good track records. Don't want to lose you. But if I have to, I will. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Right. How's the hat and garden job?
One last push, I think I can crack it, sir.
Fine. I want that one. Drop everything else. Maggie, you stay with the murder.
But I really don't
That's
see
it.
why that... Right, the use of this
Oh,
fine. You've got
don't
it all
be
to
so
yourself.
thick. Don't you realise that we You've just been segregated like a couple of squabbling kids. And if you don't find that humiliating, well, I do.
I'll bet.
Why Dover, Ruby? Thinking of skipping the country?
Of course not. I was going to work the cross-channel ferries for a bit, wasn't I? Give the punters their duty-frees.
You weren't running away, then?
You think I did it?
Did you?
Oh, do leave off.
Any idea who did? You must have seen a lot of her regulars.
How do you reckon that, then?
I want you to come with me.
Where to? Where are you taking
Just shut
me?
it and come on.
I don't want to.
Funny to think that last night she was here. Fine, no worries.
Yeah.
It's the little things that get me. Like what happens to all her clothes? Look. All these shoes. Try the other. Go on. You always did have small feet for a tall girl, Rube. Look at that. Same colour, same make, same everything, Cinderella.
All right, all right. So I shared with Melody. Call girls. The punters are looking for class. I mean, once they've seen me, well, I've never had no one walk away. But over the phone, well, I mean, listen to me. We can't all fly in from Luton Airport. It's male chauvinistic sexual bloody snobbery, that's what it is. So Melody used to take my calls for me. Make like she was me. As I said, once they've seen me...
Plays the day after tomorrow.
I know it is. Stop moaning.
Yeah, with the rate you're carrying on, you'll be following around the stage with a needle and thread.
Look, Sir Lawrence, if you'd rather do it yourself...
I've got enough to do remembering me lines. It's all in blank verse.
It should suit you down to the ground. You got a blank nut.
Do you know, it's really marvellous, isn't it? My lot always being hammered about good manners and all that old lemon juice. And yet you're one of the rudest old senior citizens I've ever met.
Privilege of age, my son. You get old enough, you got it made. Now, come in here and let's have a deco.
How do I look?
Can I have your autograph?
You wait here. Well, Ruby.
Look, one girl on her Todd, okay. Two girls sharing, they get done, right? I was coming home last night. I saw the law swarming all over the place. I didn't want to take any chances, so I beat it. Had a quick drink at the Fenwick and caught the first train to Dover, understand?
Well, if you help me, I think I can have an attack of amnesia about your sharing. Okay?
Okay.
Right. Her regulars. Any one of them strike you as odd?
One. Used to call on Melody about once a month or so. Dead out of place, not the type.
You think there was a type?
Well, there isn't really, but when you're on the game, you get a kind of sixth sense about who wants it and who doesn't. And I definitely got a feeling that this punter didn't.
Maybe he was a talker.
Yeah, I thought of that. But there was something else funny as well.
Oh?
Yeah, he always had this parcel with him.
Parcel?
Well, old box, you know, about this big. Couldn't make it out. I mean, punters have their funny little ways, I know, but it beat me what could have been in this box each time. It was like those French films, remember? Where the Japanese punter's always got a box with him every time, and you never get to see what's in it. Nearly drove me mad.
Get on with it, Ruby.
Well, one day I finally got a squint what was inside this geezer's box.
Well, what was it?
A plant in a pot.
A plant?
Yeah. Here, this must be one of them, I should think.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were going to say. How many sets of prints are on that plant pot?
2. One set belonged to the murdered girl, the other's not yet identified. About this plant?
Yes. I'm afraid so. We went to the bank. They said you hadn't been in.
No, I decided to take the day off. I didn't want it to happen at the bank.
You know why we're here, Mr. Pullman, don't you? We want to talk with you again.
Yes, I understand.
Come into the house, will you?
It had to be done, you see. She had a good upbringing. God-fearing upbringing, but somehow it didn't take. You know how vaccination sometimes doesn't take. It started with boys at school, then older men. She found there was money to be made with them. she liked it in any case. She found there was money to be made, too. When she left school, I got her a job at the bank. And she said she could make more in an hour than she could make in a week there. I used to go and see her at that place of hers. I used to reason with her. I always took her a plant. I tried to show her how clean and sweet they were. I could tell she was getting more and more fed up with me. She told me not to come again. Ever.
So she had to be killed?
Here, this is for you. I know you don't have a lot to brighten up those police offices of yours.
Thank you very much. Shall we go now?
They can all turn up but her own mother.
Couldn't face the scandal.
I found I couldn't do it. I couldn't let him take the blame. I was supposed to go to my sister at Cheltenham, but I was coming to you anyway. How did you know that it was...
Shoes. You knew about the other ones. The ones that weren't Melody's. Yet you said you'd never been to the flat.
I went to plead with her. She went wild. She wouldn't even give me a chance. She'd just been with a man. I saw him coming out. She had nothing on under her dressing gown. She said vile things, terrible. She said she'd already had 2 abortions. 2 of God's creatures.
Sorry, my aunt.
Doesn't
Sorry,
matter.
I'm so sorry.
You didn't miss much. I was useless anyway. I guess a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Even if she's a woman.